Sex is one of the most powerful human experiences. It's more than just a physical connection. It has emotional, psychological, and spiritual implications. Despite society's portrayal of casual sex as harmless, many people find themselves deeply affected by past sexual experiences, unable to move forward or fully engage in new relationships. This is where the concept of soul ties comes into play. A soul tie is an intense bond between two individuals that forms through deep emotional connections, particularly through sex. While some soul ties are healthy and bring love, commitment, and trust, others become toxic, keeping individuals stuck in unhealthy cycles. To truly break free from what's holding you back, it's crucial to understand how sex impacts the soul, how these connections form, and how they affect every area of life. In today's culture, sex is often reduced to a simple act of pleasure. People engage in it without understanding its full impact. Many assume that once an encounter is over, they can simply walk away, unaffected. However, experience shows that this is rarely the case. Sex has the power to bind people emotionally and spiritually, sometimes in ways that are difficult to unravel. When two people become intimate, they exchange more than just physical pleasure. They exchange energy, emotions, and even psychological patterns. This explains why past sexual encounters can linger in the mind and heart long after they've ended. For many, it's hard to shake the emotional connection with someone they've been intimate with, even when the relationship is toxic or damaging. People often find themselves comparing new partners to past ones, feeling guilty about moving on, or even experiencing an unexplained emotional pull towards someone who was once in their life. This happens because the bond created during intimacy is much deeper than most realize. The emotional and psychological effects of soul ties can manifest in different ways. Some people struggle with a deep sense of loss or emptiness after a relationship ends. Others feel trapped in an unexplainable attachment to someone who was unhealthy for them. The truth is, every intimate connection leaves an imprint, and not all of them are easy to erase. You feel emotionally connected to someone long after the relationship has ended. You constantly think about an ex, even when trying to move on. You feel guilty or ashamed after being intimate with someone. You compare new partners to past ones and struggle to be fully present in current relationships. You feel spiritually or emotionally drained after being with someone, yet you keep going back. You experience anxiety or depression tied to memories of a past relationship. When you share intimacy with someone, your mind and emotions absorb their essence in ways that are not always obvious. This is why some people experience deep emotional turmoil when a sexual relationship ends. The invisible bond lingers, creating a cycle of emotional confusion and attachment that feels impossible to break. One of the greatest deceptions in today's world is the idea that sex is just a casual act. Movies, music, and social media constantly push the idea that people can engage in sexual relationships without any emotional or spiritual consequences. The reality, however, is that many people suffer from deep emotional wounds due to unwise sexual choices, even if they don't recognize it at first. The normalization of casual sex, hookup culture, and non-committal relationships has led to an increase in emotional emptiness and brokenness. Many people cycle through relationships, looking for something deeper, but never truly finding fulfillment. This is because they carry unresolved emotional bonds from past encounters, making it difficult to connect on a healthy level with new partners. Society may dismiss soul ties as a myth, but countless people struggle with unexplained emotional turmoil, obsessive thoughts about past lovers, and a sense of being stuck in cycles of unhealthy relationships. These struggles are real, and they stem from the fact that sex is not just a physical act. It is a binding force that deeply affects the heart, mind, and soul. Sex is not just an act of physical pleasure, it is also an exchange of energy. When two people are intimate, they transfer their emotional and spiritual state to one another. If one person is dealing with anxiety, depression, or unresolved trauma, they can pass those burdens onto their partner through intimacy. This is why some people feel emotionally drained, confused, or uneasy after being with someone. People who engage in multiple sexual relationships without emotional grounding often find themselves feeling lost or disconnected. They may experience a deep sense of emptiness or struggle with self-worth. This is because each encounter leaves an imprint on the soul, making it difficult to maintain a clear and stable emotional foundation. When people form unhealthy soul ties, they absorb not only the emotions, but also the spiritual battles of those they've been intimate with. This is why some individuals feel sudden mood shifts, unexplained depression, or emotional instability after engaging with certain people. Recognizing these effects is the first step toward breaking free and reclaiming emotional and spiritual wholeness. Holding on to past sexual and emotional connections can prevent you from experiencing true freedom. Many people unknowingly sabotage their future relationships because they are still emotionally tied to someone from their past. The inability to let go creates a cycle where new relationships are built on unresolved emotions, leading to repetitive heartbreak and disappointment. Breaking free from soul ties is not just about ending a relationship, it's about reclaiming your emotional and spiritual well-being. It's about releasing past connections so you can move forward without baggage. When people sever unhealthy soul ties, they often experience a newfound sense of clarity, peace, and emotional freedom. By removing past emotional imprints, individuals can develop healthier relationships based on genuine love rather than emotional neediness, think clearly, and make decisions without being clouded by past attachments. Feel a sense of personal empowerment and self-worth. Experience emotional healing and spiritual renewal. Breaking free from soul ties begins with recognition. Acknowledging the emotional and spiritual impact of past relationships is crucial. Once you understand the depth of these connections, you can take steps toward healing and restoration. Identify the attachments. Be honest with yourself about who still has emotional influence over you. Cut off unhealthy connections. If possible, distance yourself from individuals who keep you tied to the past. Change thought patterns. Replace thoughts about past relationships with affirmations of personal growth and healing. Surround yourself with positive influences. Engage with people who encourage emotional and spiritual well-being. Seek healing through reflection and growth. Acknowledge past mistakes, but don't dwell on them. Learn and move forward. Breaking free from soul ties is a process, but it is necessary for true healing and transformation. By understanding the weight of sexual and emotional bonds, individuals can reclaim their personal power, restore their sense of self-worth, and walk confidently into a future free from past burdens. Sex and soul ties are deeply connected, impacting people on levels they often don't realize. While society may downplay the significance of intimacy, the emotional and spiritual effects are undeniable. By recognizing the power of soul ties and taking intentional steps to break free, individuals can experience profound healing, emotional renewal, and a life unburdened by past relationships. The journey to freedom begins with understanding, and from there, true transformation becomes possible. Sexual sin has far-reaching effects beyond the physical act itself. It influences emotions, mindsets, and spiritual well-being. Many people enter relationships seeking love, connection, and validation, but instead find themselves trapped in cycles of regret, guilt, and emotional turmoil. Sex was designed to create deep bonds between two individuals. When these bonds form outside of a healthy, committed relationship, they can lead to emotional instability. The emotional aftermath of engaging in relationships outside of God's design often includes guilt, shame, and self-condemnation, insecurity, and low self-worth. Many who engage in casual relationships find their sense of value decreasing over time. Anxiety and depression. Constantly giving pieces of oneself away can lead to a sense of emptiness. Emotional dependence. Becoming attached to the wrong person leads to toxic cycles of breakups and reunions. Fear of commitment. When relationships repeatedly fail, trust in real commitment weakens. Sexual sin affects the mind in ways that are often underestimated. Over time, individuals develop unhealthy patterns of thinking about relationships, love, and intimacy. It shifts the way people view themselves and others, leading to distorted perceptions about love and connection. Distorted views on love. Many begin to equate love with physical intimacy, missing out on deeper emotional and spiritual connections, addiction and compulsion. Sex can become an addictive escape from deeper emotional pain. Cycle of regret. Individuals may continuously engage in behaviors they later regret, yet feel powerless to stop. Increased jealousy and comparison. Unhealthy past experiences create insecurities that carry over into future relationships. Soul ties are emotional and spiritual bonds formed between individuals, especially through physical intimacy. These connections influence the heart, mind, and spiritual growth of a person. Many people unknowingly carry past soul ties into their current lives, which hinders them from moving forward in their spiritual journey. Soul ties often go unnoticed, yet they shape decisions, emotions, and even future relationships. People who struggle to move on from their past or constantly think about former partners may be experiencing the lingering effects of a soul tie. Signs that a soul tie is holding you back. Recurring thoughts about a past relationship. Even when actively trying to move forward, memories of a past partner persist. Difficulty forming new healthy relationships. Emotional ties to past partners prevent new relationships from flourishing. Feeling pulled back to a toxic relationship. Even after recognizing the harm, the connection feels too strong to break. Emotional and spiritual fatigue. Carrying emotional baggage from the past leads to exhaustion and stagnation. Soul ties don't just affect relationships, they impact one's connection with God. Many find themselves unable to fully surrender their hearts to God because past attachments take up emotional space meant for divine purpose. Ways soul ties interfere with spiritual growth. Distraction from purpose. Instead of focusing on growth and faith, individuals remain stuck in their past. Difficulty in prayer and worship. A divided heart makes it harder to connect with God. Internal confusion. Mixed emotions about past and present relationships cause instability. Sense of guilt and shame. A heavy conscience makes people feel unworthy of God's love. Soul ties create an unseen weight that drags a person down. Emotional pain from past relationships remains unresolved, creating unnecessary struggles in the present. Some people unknowingly punish themselves for their past, believing they are unworthy of love and healing. Unhealthy relationship patterns. People tend to attract the same type of toxic partners because of unresolved soul ties. Fear of being alone. The emotional connection to a past relationship makes it difficult to embrace solitude and healing. Repeating the same mistakes. Without healing, the same relationship cycles continue. Healing from soul ties is not just about moving on from a past relationship. It is about reclaiming emotional, mental, and spiritual freedom. Breaking free requires intentional action, commitment, and a willingness to confront past wounds. Acknowledgement and acceptance. Recognizing the presence of a soul tie is the first step toward healing. Many people live in denial, unaware of how much a past relationship still affects them. Acceptance allows individuals to take ownership of their healing process. Emotional and mental detox. Cutting off communication and removing reminders of a past relationship is essential for healing. Journaling emotions and confronting unresolved pain can aid in emotional release. Setting strong boundaries. avoiding environments or situations that may trigger past emotional connections, protecting one's emotional space by refusing to entertain toxic interactions, filling the void with healthy relationships. Building supportive friendships and seeking accountability can help fill the emotional gaps left by past relationships. Surrounding oneself with uplifting influences accelerates the healing process. Rewiring thought patterns. Replacing negative thoughts with affirming beliefs. Practicing gratitude and focusing on present and future growth rather than past pain. Restoring personal identity. Many people lose a sense of self in unhealthy relationships. Rebuilding confidence and self-worth is a vital step in breaking free. Engaging in self-care, discovering new hobbies, and investing in personal growth restores wholeness. Breaking free is only the beginning. Maintaining emotional and spiritual freedom requires consistency and awareness. Long-term strategies for emotional and spiritual freedom. Avoid revisiting the past. Resist the urge to dwell on what was lost. Instead, focus on what is being gained. Develop healthy relationship standards. Learning from past experiences allows for wiser relationship choices in the future. Stay accountable. Having trusted mentors or friends who provide guidance ensures continuous growth. Commit to healing and growth. Healing is an ongoing journey. Staying committed to emotional and spiritual well-being prevents relapse into toxic cycles. True freedom comes from adopting a new way of thinking about relationships, love, and self-worth. When old wounds no longer define one's future, life can be lived with peace, joy, and purpose. Key takeaways. Emotional freedom is a choice that requires intentional effort. Past relationships do not determine one's worth or future. Healing is not just about letting go, but about embracing something better. The journey to wholeness is worth the effort, and lasting freedom is possible. By understanding the dangers of sexual sin, recognizing the impact of soul ties, and taking steps to break free, individuals can walk confidently into a life of emotional and spiritual liberation. The path to healing requires courage, but the reward is true freedom and a restored sense of self-worth. Healing from past emotional wounds is crucial for breaking free from soul ties and stepping into a new life of freedom. Emotional trauma caused by past relationships, heartbreak, betrayal, or abuse can linger in your soul, influencing your decisions, beliefs, and self-worth. Without healing, these wounds can create cycles of self-sabotage, toxic relationships, and deep insecurity. When someone experiences a deep emotional connection, especially through intimacy, their soul forms an attachment. If that relationship ends painfully, the emotions attached to it don't simply disappear. Instead, they can manifest as a lingering sadness that won't fade, a feeling of unworthiness or rejection, a deep fear of love, trust, or vulnerability, unresolved anger or resentment, repeatedly attracting similar unhealthy relationships, memories and nostalgia. Hearing a certain song, seeing a place you once visited together, or even a scent can bring back emotions tied to that person. Emotional responses. Random waves of sadness, longing, or even anger when thinking about them. Comparison to others. Judging potential new relationships based on old ones. Denial of hurt. Pretending you're fine when deep down you're still in pain. So 1. Acknowledge your pain. Denying your wounds keeps them buried. Facing them allows healing to begin. Stop romanticizing the past. Accept that if the relationship ended, it was for a reason. Do not let nostalgia distort reality. Practice emotional release. Cry, write, pray, talk to someone. Suppressed pain only festers. Forgive yourself. Many people carry guilt from past relationships. Healing begins when you show yourself grace. Create a new identity. Stop defining yourself by who you were in that relationship. Build a new, stronger version of yourself. Sexual purity is often misunderstood, but at its core, it's about reclaiming control over your body, mind, and emotions. Many people believe that once they have engaged in sexual relationships outside of their values, they can never be pure again. This is a damaging belief that keeps people stuck in cycles of shame and hopelessness. Purity is a state of the heart and mind, not just the body. It's about realigning your desires with a higher standard for your life. It's about making intentional choices that protect your emotional and spiritual well-being. Your mind is where the battle for purity begins. The thoughts you entertain, the images you consume, and the conversations you engage in all shape your ability to maintain purity. Mental replays. When you constantly relive past encounters, your mind remains trapped in those experiences. Pornography and media influence. The more you consume, the more your mind normalizes impure thoughts and desires. Social circles and influence. If you surround yourself with people who encourage unhealthy behaviors, resisting temptation becomes harder. Guard your mind. Be mindful of what you watch, listen to, and entertain. Set clear boundaries. Avoid situations that lead to compromise. Develop healthy coping mechanisms. Many people turn to sexual gratification for emotional comfort. Replace this with healthy outlets like exercise, hobbies, and deep friendships. Replace shame with growth. Instead of dwelling on past mistakes, focus on becoming a better version of yourself each day. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful tools in breaking soul ties. Holding on to anger, resentment, and pain from past relationships only deepens the soul connection to those individuals. Many people believe that forgiving someone means excusing their behavior. But true forgiveness is about freeing yourself from the emotional weight of past experiences. You remain emotionally connected to the person who hurt you. Your mind replays past pain, keeping it fresh and alive. You carry bitterness that affects your new relationships and opportunities. You subconsciously sabotage new connections because of past wounds. If I forgive, they win. Forgiveness is not about them. It's about setting yourself free. Forgiving means forgetting. No, it means remembering without emotional pain. They don't deserve my forgiveness. Forgiveness is about your healing, not their worthiness. I will forgive when I feel ready. Forgiveness is a decision, not an emotion. Acknowledge the pain. Pretending you're not hurt delays the healing process. Choose forgiveness. Daily. Some wounds take time to fully release. Separate forgiveness from reconciliation. You can forgive without restoring the relationship. Release the need for closure. You may never get an apology, and that's okay. Focus on your growth. Letting go allows you to build a better future. Forgiveness is the final step in breaking free from soul ties. It is the key that unlocks emotional and spiritual freedom. By releasing past pain, you make room for new beginnings, healthier relationships, and a renewed sense of self-worth. Breaking free from soul ties is not just about ending unhealthy relationships. It's about stepping into a completely new season of life. A season where you are no longer defined by your past mistakes, toxic connections, or emotional baggage. Freedom is more than just cutting ties with the past. It's about fully embracing the life that God has designed for you. But here's the reality. Many people break free from toxic relationships, but they don't know how to move forward. They end up feeling lost, empty, and confused. And without a clear vision for what's next, it's easy to fall back into the same cycles. So let's be clear, Your freedom isn't just about letting go, it's about stepping into something greater. You are not just escaping the past, you are stepping into your purpose. And that requires a shift in mindset, a commitment to growth, and a willingness to set higher standards for yourself. If you've gone through the process of breaking soul ties, you might still feel moments of emotional attachment, nostalgia, or even temptation to reconnect. That's normal, but it's not an excuse to go backward. Here's how you can stay free and keep moving forward. Block every door to the past. If you truly want to heal, you cannot leave doors open for temptation. That means deleting contacts, removing social media connections, and getting rid of any physical reminders of past relationships. If it's still in your life, it's still in your heart. Guard your thoughts and emotions. Just because someone is out of your life physically doesn't mean they're out of your mind. Be intentional about where your thoughts go. When memories surface, redirect them toward your future, not your past. Change your environment. If you keep surrounding yourself with the same people, the same places, and the same situations that led you into unhealthy relationships, you are setting yourself up for failure. You need an environment that supports your growth, not one that tempts you to go backward. Create a vision for your future. What do you want your next season of life to look like? What kind of relationships do you want? What standards will you hold for yourself? Without a vision, you will wander. With a vision, you will walk in purpose. One of the biggest mistakes people make after breaking soul ties is not setting higher standards for future relationships. If you don't redefine what healthy love looks like, you will repeat the same patterns. Here's how you ensure that never happens again. Know your worth. You deserve a relationship that reflects love, respect, and commitment. Don't settle for anything less. Take your time. Rushing into a new relationship before you've healed will only bring old wounds into a new situation. Take time to heal, grow, and strengthen your identity. Learn to say no. Not everyone who wants access to you deserves it. Be selective about who you let into your life. Stay accountable. Surround yourself with people who will hold you to your standards and call you out when necessary. You are not the same person you were before. And if you keep thinking and acting like the old version of yourself, you will never fully experience the transformation that is waiting for you. Walking in freedom means embracing your new identity with boldness and confidence. Speak differently. The way you talk about yourself and your future matters. Stop saying, "I always attract toxic people," and start declaring, "I am surrounded by healthy, loving relationships." Act differently. Let your choices reflect your growth. The old version of you tolerated disrespect, chased after unhealthy love, and settled for less. The new version of you demands more, respects yourself, and knows your worth. Think differently. Renew your mindset daily. Your thoughts create your reality. If you keep thinking like a victim, you will live like one. But if you start thinking like a victor, your entire life will shift. This is your moment to walk into a completely new chapter of your life. Not next month, not next year. Right now, your healing, your freedom, and your breakthrough are already happening. You just have to step into it. If this message spoke to you, take a moment to comment below, Unchained. Let me know. What are you breaking free from? What new standards are you setting for your life? And if you haven't already, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any more powerful unveiling truths like this. Your best days are ahead of you. Keep moving forward, keep growing, keep walking in freedom, and never ever look back.